Hey, what's up, guys? It's Michael from Family Game Review, and for day 22, 23, excuse me. No, today's day 23. We're actually doing a makeup broadcast of day 22, which was yesterday for Star Wars Battlefront. Now, again, we apologize. We had some technical difficulties. It just seems like in April, the power keeps going out around here. Well, you know, yeah, like Camille just said, April showers bring May flowers. But because of the showers and everything, and due to construction in our area, our broadcast had to be cut, or unfortunately, by the time the power came back on, it was too late. But in any case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the multiplayer of Star Wars Battlefront. I'm going to play a little bit of the single player first. Well, there is no single player, to be honest with you. This game is a multiplayer. You could play two players on. This is a co-op game with two players could play on the same screen, which we love here at the office. But there's been many Star Wars games for the last several decades on every console, from the original Atari 2600, even down to the most current gen with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and PC. Star Wars Battlefront, in my opinion, actually quite a few people here. This is one of those games that actually captures the feeling of those battles that you see, like in Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and so forth. Now, there is a new Star Wars Battlefront 2 coming out later this year. They did make the announcement, and it is going to take place right after Return of the Jedi and leading up to The Force Awakens, if I believe it is. I didn't want to spoil myself too much, but it looks really good. Where this game here deals with episodes 4, 5, and 6, and a little bit of 7. So what I'm going to do is play a survival mode, and I'm going to kind of showcase why this game is actually a fun game. And parents, if you're watching this broadcast and you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, it involves shooting and so forth, imagine when your kids see Star Wars itself. It's almost identical to the level of amount of violence that you would see. There's no blood, no gore, to say the least. If anything, it's like the Empire with their blasters and their walkers and TIE fighters and so forth versus the Rebellion and, X-Wings and, speeders and so forth of that much. I mean, anyone that's seen Star Wars, any of the episodes, you're kind of getting a taste of. If you've seen those movies, then you kind of have a general idea of, what to expect. So what I'm going to do is choose something that makes it easier for me. I'm going to just play a soldier class. But see, the game is very simplistic as far as controls. It's not too difficult. They do have the skirmish mode that you normally would play online, offline, so 1 or 2 players could play, or if you have multiple consoles, like multiple PS4s or Xbox Ones in your home, you could actually play that on, offline. So, if you're wondering if you want your kids to be online or not, this is something that can be played offline. Now, the only difference between online and offline play is, you don't have to deal with some of the people that you normally do. However, the good part is, the AI could be measured to be as difficult as you want it to be, or as simplistic as you want it to be. I've known people here at the office that want to enjoy the Star Wars experience, and they rather choose to play the game more on the easier mode. And then there's people like myself that want a challenge, and they want to play the game and, experience everything that Star Wars has to offer. So that being said, I'm going to showcase this here. And I'm going to showcase how the controls are. There's third person and first person, but I prefer playing third person because, if you're a fan of the Star Wars series like how I am, you kind of want to, grasp everything. So as you see the droids there, and then there's more stormtroopers heading this way. And then I have a jetpack, which makes life easier for me, so much easier. But this mode here is survival. So let's say if you have 2 younger children, or an adult, yourself or your child or loved one, you could both play this mode on the same screen, and kind of co-op together. So this kind of makes the game a lot more fun. So in the survival mode, there's 15 waves. You're kind of confined to a tighter space, so it kind of gives you more of close quarters combat range and so forth. And the survival mode, like, this is one of the rare modes where you can actually use a turret to shoot down, you know, TIE fighters and so forth. So here we go. And there's collectibles, like right there. I tend not to go into as many spoilers as I want people to kind of like be like, oh, I didn't know that was there and so forth. So you could use like a torpedo for, you know, TIE fighters that might come in. Trust me, the TIE fighters may look, you know, soft when they're going up against X-Wings, but when you're on foot and there's a TIE fighter beaming down on you, trust me, that TIE fighter looks as menacing as my mother when she's upset when I didn't come home on time. So, let's see here. As you can see also, the graphics are beautiful in this game. The game came out over a year ago, but, you know, you could easily put it up against other games out there, and it will easily, you know, stand the test, you know, test of time to say, hey, you know, this is a beautiful looking game. Even for non-gamers, they will just be taken back by how, you know, beautiful the graphics are in this game. So let's see here. I am going to see if I can find that last enemy real quickly. But getting back to the special needs aspect of the game, every person in our office throughout the whole spectrum is a Star Wars fan some way or out, whether some of them that are fans of the Empire, don't ask, and there's others that are fans of the Republic or the Resistance in Episode 7, how they're referred to. And everyone just loves Star Wars. It's just, there's everything for everyone. I mean, like I said, you see me on foot, and you see how I'm playing the game on foot. There's power-ups in the multiplayer where you can pick up the power-ups, and wait a minute, where am I getting shot from? Oh, there he is. There we go. So he's down. And there's even like power-ups where you could pick up where, depending on if you're playing as the Empire or the Rebellion, you could actually be, you know, in a TIE fighter or an X-Wing. There's different modes. From like, you know, escorting the droids to taking down an AT-AT walker. There is a lot for everyone. It's not, I mean, there's even a hero mode, so if you pick up power-ups, you could be heroes such as Luke, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and from the Empire side is Boba Fett, Darth Vader, and the Emperor. Now, there is a lot of DLC for the game. There's 4 separate DLC packs that are available. But that being said, there's more heroes in each pack. There is, you know, more power-ups, more weapons, and a lot more levels. Now, we're not going to showcase the DLC today, and I'll tell you why. The DLC is pricey, even if it's like at $7.50 to $10 per pack. But those are 4 packs, so if you have a family that's a big Star Wars fan, the price can kind of get up there. And if you want to know what the packs involve, the best thing to do that I could recommend is just to go online and go to YouTube, and you could actually look up and see, you know, like the DLCs in progress. Now, if you excuse me for a second, I hear a TIE fighter somewhere. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Excuse me, let me shoot this TIE fighter down. Alright, well, if you first don't succeed, get on a turret. So give me 1 second. And then what I'm going to do is, after I shoot this down, I'm going to exit out of the survival mode. There we go. I'm going to exit out of survival mode, and I'm going to try to enter a multiplayer match. Now, as we don't usually do broadcasts while we're playing multiplayer, I got to warn you, we did turn off party chat, so you may hear some language that may be not fully suitable because, you know, not everyone, you know, likes to use nice words and so forth. But if you have younger children watching this broadcast, just please be aware that, you know, as much as we want to control, you know, who says what in our party chat, that's going to kind of be a little difficult. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pause this. I'm going to hand over the headset to Camille, and I'm going to jump into multiplayer. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to hand it over to Camille, and I'll jump into multiplayer, and I'll let her talk. and hopefully everything will go well. So fingers crossed.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hope you've been enjoying your weekend, and thank you for joining us for the ongoing 30-day Lighted Up Blue Challenge. And I will be very honest with you, I am not as much of a Star Wars fan as many people are. I am a fan, don't get me wrong, but I'm not one of... I'm more of a Star Trek fan than I am a Star Wars fan. And that said, I was still able to pick up and play the game very easily. Totally get the story, get the game modes and everything. And this game, as you can tell, is definitely for the older gamer, and by older, Mike, about 8 and up. Yeah, we had a couple gamers, some as young as 6, playing the game with no problem. They may not have fully grasped all of the elements of the game, the whole story, the power-ups, everything, but they were able to pick it up and play with no problem. Where this game really, really shined was about 2-3 years older, 8, 9, 10, because as you know, there's been a huge comeback in Star Wars in general, and so that generation is very much drawn to the Star Wars franchise. And that's one of the reasons that we included it in the 30-day Lighted Up Blue Challenge, because we've said it before, if you've met one gamer on the spectrum, you've met one gamer on the spectrum. No two are alike, just like anyone else. And as much as we love and stand behind every single title that we're featuring on the Lighted Up Blue Challenge, not everyone is going to look for those calm, easy games. Just because a child may be on the spectrum doesn't mean that they're not into Star Wars. It doesn't mean that they don't want something a little bit more challenging as they start getting older and become older kids or preteens. And this game is, I would say, one of the friendlier of the, wouldn't you say, Mike? One of the more family friendly. Yeah, believe it or not, even though the graphics are a lot more advanced, this would be more comparable to Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Yes, this is multiplayer, so as you can see, there's a lot more action. Mike is currently on the planet Endor. So you can see on the right hand where it shows the different gamer tags, who killed who. And another reminder that there's literally less graphic violence in the game than there is in the movie. When someone gets shot or killed, there's no actual blood or gore of any sort. They just sort of cleanly fall down and disappear. So, even with the violence, we think that it's okay for your older gamers, who, especially those who have already seen the movie. And this game, one of the things that I like about it is it's more of a challenge for your older gamer. So you really do want your digital library to evolve with your gamer. So as your gamer gets older, you want them to be playing something that's a little bit more of a challenge than, say, Zuma's Revenge or Peggle 2. Now, by the same token, we do recommend keeping such titles in your library. So even if your gamer is already a little bit older, we do recommend getting something very, very calm, like either Rayman Legends or Zuma's Revenge. That way, in the event that there might be a little bit too much action, you can always pop in something that's a little bit more calm. By the same token, you don't want to deprive any gamer, whether they're on the spectrum or not, from being able to challenge their strategy skills, decision-making skills, resources, and that's what a game like this can offer. Now, there are other games that... See, he blew up and there's not a drop of blood. There are some other games out there. I'm not going to mention them. For sake of propriety, I don't think it would be good, but let's just say that they are definitely your AAA titles with multi-million-dollar marketing budgets that are also first-person shooters. And if you've gone onto YouTube and looked up Game Rage, as Michael has suggested before, you'll probably find out which titles those are. So I'm going to refrain from mentioning them by name. But there are other games like this out there on which you can play multiplayer. But we find that Star Wars Battlefront is really the most family-friendly choice anywhere near that genre. The violence is very, very tame. It is a shooter, so yes, people are going to get shot and killed and things like that. But like I said, there's not a drop of blood anywhere ever. So if anything,
Sorry.
I think Mike's having a bit too much fun, but if your child has seen the movie, they've already witnessed more violence than there is anywhere in the game. There's certainly no offensive language in the game itself, but we cannot speak for the multiplayer experience. Sometimes you will find yourself online. Oh, yeah. The main man. The Emperor. He just ran by. So sometimes, unfortunately, when you play multiplayer, you don't always know who you're going to be playing with. You can be playing with strangers from around the country, sometimes around the world, and some of them can use some profanity or say some inappropriate things. Very common, but more so in those other titles like I was talking about. And that's a big reason that we chose Star Wars Battlefront for a more mature option for your gamer for the 30-day Light It Up Blue Challenge. Because this is more family friendly. It has a great element of inclusion in it because as Mike said, there's no solo player mode, so to speak, like as in a long drawn out story, but as you saw on the screen earlier, there are solo missions. There's a co-op mode, so you can play with someone else in your gaming family. It also enables gamers to play from different age groups, on the spectrum and off the spectrum. So, and then the multiplayer. So there is a very heavy inclusive aspect to it. And we've been on multiplayer for quite a few minutes now, and I still haven't heard a single curse word.
Good.
But parents, please don't take that as a green light to just let any gamer, and I truly mean any gamer, just go on multiplayer alone, unsupervised, if they are a minor, because there's a reason that uh, a lot of those games out there are mature rated. So do be active and be a part of your child's gaming and be involved in your family's gaming. Uh, just as you wouldn't let your child go out and walk through the park uh, with people that you don't know, you also shouldn't let them online with people that you don't know unsupervised. Now, that said, one of the cool things is that you can play with your friends online. And so you can, there's a nice social skill aspect to it, because if your kid and another kid both have Star Wars Battlefront, they can play online together. Oh, is it? Ah, fabulous. I know Michael's mentioned this before, but this is definitely worth mentioning again. The EA Vault from Electronic Arts. How much is it, Mike? $30 a year. And you always have access to sort of a constantly changing array of free games. So 10% off of, games on sale. So it really is worth the money to invest in EA Vault. Again, $30 for a year, and you could be getting free or discounted games all the time. And you're looking at an example. They're not just throwing, cheap B-rated games in there. Right now, Star Wars Battlefront is available for free in the EA Vault for Xbox. Or Microsoft, I should say. Mm-hmm. That's a good point, Mike. If you are not part of the EA Vault on Microsoft, don't worry. The game is currently about $20 used, maybe even less if you catch a sale. So it's not an expensive title. And as Michael did...
Took out Boba Fett.
He took out Boba Fett.
But, see, it's not a rage.
Michael just mentioned it's not a raging game, it's a fun game. I'll agree with him, but I will also, reiterate, no one knows your gamer or your gaming family like you do. So that's for you to judge individually. We did not have any problems with any of our special needs testers when testing Star Wars Battlefront. Everyone had a great time, and that included all the different modes. We were very vigilant in supervising when anyone was playing multiplayer, so we made sure that no one was playing with people using bad language or questionable character. I was wondering how to phrase that. Thank you, Mike. So we didn't have any problems at all, and that's why we feel that, of the first-person shooters or, fast action shooters, this is definitely more of a family-friendly option. But at the same time, it is it is still a popular title, and that again is where inclusion comes in, because at some point every kid wants to be cool. they reach that age and they want to be able to play with their peers. And Star Wars Battlefront is a great title for that. Because, like Mike said, who doesn't love Star Wars? Well, I may be more of a Star Trek fan, but that doesn't mean I'm not a Star Wars fan. But again, as you can see, I think that the multiplayer aspect really does demonstrate even more so.
Oh, it's Vader.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That was Vader. Yeah. This definitely is a more mature game than, say, Zuma's Revenge, Plants vs. Zombies, so, it really is up to you to determine what's right for your gaming family. But as kids get older, they want more of a challenge. They want more free reign, and that's what this game provides, because you really have to use your noggin to run around the forest, know when to take cover, know when to run out there, how to make the most of your power-ups and collectibles and things like that. So it's definitely a more cognitive game. Yeah, teamwork. If you're going to play multiplayer, then teamwork is important to succeed in that respect.
We've defeated Vader.
Uplink is down. We'll lose Bobber support if we
And
can't
as you
get
can
back
see, the
online.
graphics are just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Uplink activated. Watch for Imperial counterattack.
You could explain about the controller.
Mm-hmm.
And
Michael's team is trying to defend against the AT-AT that is walking.
questioning that. Suspect. So we have to defend points.
Mm-hmm.
In
You
order
have
for
to.
the Y-wing bombers to come to bomb.
Locking sequence offline.
And then the Empire shall prevent us from locking in those coordinates. Their AT coming.
Not sure if you were able to hear Michael, but there is an objective here, and it is all about teamwork. You have to defend certain points and prevent the Empire from being able to lock onto your location
Engaged. Well done. Now
and strike. So there's definitely an objective, and teamwork is key. Some people are just lone wolves, unfortunately, and not that interested in teamwork, but the more you do cooperate with your team members, the more successful you'll be in the game. And so I love that social aspect of it. I know that for
Bomber targeting systems locked in.
some of our grown-up gamers may have had a little bit of difficulty jumping into this one in the first 5-10 minutes because there was so much action on the screen. It took a few minutes to sort of catch up and, understand. But that said, as Michael said, the controls are very simple. There is a colorblind mode, which helps a great deal. And after just, give it, I'd say, at least 10 minutes, and you will get the hang of it, even if you've never picked up a controller before. If you've seen the movie, then you'll probably understand a lot more about what's happening in the game, because naturally it is based
Y-wings are
on,
targeting the walkers.
what took place in the movies. So, but even if you haven't seen the movie, you can still jump in with your gamer. If you're a parent just starting out to game with your child for the first time, this is actually a fabulous opportunity to turn to your gamer and say, hey, I want to play with you. Help me, tell me what's going on here. Where do I have to defend? So, yeah, we're getting to a tense moment here because the AT-AT is right there. If you just saw, oh, how did your gun get destroyed? Oh. Oh, he is big. Well, technically it's a machine, it's not a he.
We need to strike while it is still exposed.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm. And as you can see there, Michael's team lost the match, but there was nothing punishing about it at all. It's still encouraging for your player to keep playing, so it's not discouraging. And that's very important. So, we are going to end the broadcast. We've got another one. And it is one of my favorites. It is called Tenbo, the Badass Elephant. Yes, you heard me correctly. That is the name of the game. What's the age rating on Tenbo?
It's a very friendly platform.
Yes, it's E through 10, but only because of that one word in the title of the game. So parents, please don't write off Tenbo because of that one particular word in the title. It is such a family-friendly game. So we're going to sign off for now and bring you the next broadcast, Tenbo, the Badass Elephant.
Tempo! All right, guys, we'll see you in a few moments.
Thank you for tuning in.